How do you describe what Ant did there to
Yeah, I
bring you
mean,
back?
it's great. Just took over in the second half. Had it going. Just was super aggressive, and I think there's only one really bad shot that he took in the last few minutes. But other than that, I thought he did a great job, and I think everyone else, executed defensively, and we got some second chances down there and stuff like that. So it was a great effort by everybody. But I had a special player, and he had a special night.
In moments like that, is that when you just need your star to be a star? And
Yeah, absolutely. And he and Julius had it going all night long. They were really good. We were trying to get a third, fourth guy into the game, and Nas shows up in the fourth quarter again. So I just told him feel free to show up for the first three anytime you like. The last two games, but he was there when we needed him, offensively and defensively, just timely baskets for sure. So.
It was clear you needed offense in those last 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Something to make them pay for their defensive coverages. But what makes you trust a guy like Nas when he has been playing so poorly for the first 3.5 quarters?
When you got the back down, we went to him a couple times in a row. That's what you got to do. You got to get him activated sometimes. Otherwise, he'll maybe hunt shots a little bit, and the game had lost its flow. So, with the way that they were switching, I thought he could get a matchup that he could take. And then once that went in, and then I thought the next one was a top of the floor three. I was like, ATO was pretty easy. I knew where I was going to go with it, and he delivered. So.
Coach, I'm not sure if the Lakers made a sub the entire second half.
Yeah.
The physicality of the game. Did you get the feeling or the sense that you could outlast them from that standpoint?
I don't know. I mean, our guys were pretty gassed as well. We knew it was a quick turnaround for them, from Friday night to tonight. So we wanted to try to take the game as deep as possible. They had some phenomenal performances here. It says LeBron played all but a minute and a half. And Luka looked pretty healthy again. So, but we got enough stops in the end. Made him miss a couple turnovers. So,
Chris, you're down 10 going into the fourth. Can you kind of just give us a description of what it was like on Saturday going into that quarter and your ability to just kind of rally the troops and finish the way you did?
Yeah, I don't think there wasn't any panic. It's been a hallmark of this team of the second half of the season. There's been no real panic. We've been down a bunch. Even in the first half of the season, we were down a lot through, not the greatest play, and then we'd come back. So guys always have a belief that they can come back. We just had to figure out some things defensively. That was the biggest thing to solve at the quarter break. That they were getting loose in the middle of the floor and using that as an opportunity to pick us apart from the 3-point line. So.
A little bit of follow-up to what Jace was asking, but what is it about those 5 players that you closed with the last 2 games that makes it so synergistic?
I think it's a perfect blend of passing and shot making and activity. They really can play well off of each other. Probably that group hasn't played a ton together, but at this point in the season, I think they're comfortable. I think defensively, there's enough grittiness, and that's not to say that the other guys aren't, but those guys just lead with their physicality, I'd say.
And then you mentioned Nas on both sides of the ball. I mean, in the crunch time, guarding out on the perimeter, the 2 main guys. That's kind of a revelation.
Well, he's been a really good defender at times. Last year he was really good. This year he hasn't always had it, but tonight and in the playoffs he knows that's what we need him to do. And I thought he did a great job of just sitting down and guarding and standing up those drives.
Coach, in the third quarter, you guys started blitzing Luka out of the pick and roll a little more, which kind of sparked Austin Reeves knocking down spot-up threes and Rui kind of creating out of the short roll and on that second side.
Yeah.
What are some of the challenges that kind of go with either shifting that pick and roll coverage, or is kind of sticking with it and hoping that those defensive coverages continue?
Yeah, I think a couple of those were just like reads by our guys, which we do give them a license to do at times, and especially in the effort to try to keep Luka off balance. But we didn't make the right rotations behind it, so I kind of think it caught some others by surprise a little bit. That's one, and two, they're a hard team to put two on the ball like that because there's so much passing out there at the top of the floor with both Luka and LeBron. Everybody's one pass from a bucket, so that's a tough place to be for long periods of time.
Coach, the temptation for Ant in this spot to go for it when Luka's going for it and LeBron is going for it.
Yeah.
It didn't seem like he forced his game until really the fourth quarter.
Yeah, no.
What does that say about him, the maturity to not, overlook your teammates and just force your own game?
Yeah, I think he's growing leaps and bounds in that way for sure. He's always ready for the moment. He was outstanding as down the stretch, and he knows he needs his teammates. And I actually thought that there were times where we could have found each other a little bit better, but he had it going, and you could see in his eyes that he was gonna make the play. He was gonna bring us home. But early on, Julius was really good, and Ant was happy to play off of that. But we need some other guys to step up in the flow a little bit more consistently for the next series and the next game in this series and beyond. So these guys they'll do so. I know that.
Him starting to figure out the intangibles, the leadership stuff, taking on the challenges stuff. Yeah, that's a scary man.
Anthony Edwards, 5 of 10 from the three. Those offensive rebounds absolutely killed the Lakers. They had 18 for Minnesota to the 11 for those Lakers. But we haven't even talked about guys like Julius Randle, too. He put up another 20-plus point game. We mentioned it in the pregame show, just how phenomenal he's been, especially in this postseason, in this playoff series, and he delivered once again tonight.
His physical presence, right? Taking advantage of the small defenders, playing bully ball down low, his ability to shoot the three. But like I said, he didn't play in the playoffs last year, so he's been waiting for this type of moment. And obviously, when they made the trade for Carl, for him, he wants to prove that his worth is down there. And I think you do that in the playoffs, and he's bringing a different level of intensity. And he's a matchup problem too. JJ said in his press conference, we have to give up something. But obviously, he's giving you that. When Ants get off the ball, they got to go to another guy to get them a bucket, and Julius Randle can do that in different spots.
Absolutely, he has been phenomenal. Those 25 points in 42 minutes. And not to mention for LeBron James and Luka, what they were able to do tonight. LeBron James is 40 years old. He's playing 46 minutes, 27 points for him. I don't know if it's shocking anymore when it comes to LeBron and his endurance. And I know he obviously works really hard on being able to stay out there. But for both of those guys, we mentioned in the pregame, they both have to deliver, and they did tonight. But who else do we need to see kind of step up if they want to try and extend this series?
Honestly, Reeves was obviously in foul trouble early. Mm-hmm. So being scoreless, he still picked it up, finished with 17. Luka has 38. Ron has 27. Rui has 23. This is really one of those games where this is a tough fought NBA matchup where, you don't want to blame anything on a call but that's sometimes how you split hairs. If they keep that call the same and the ball's out of bounds and it's the Lakers' ball, who knows? Maybe we got Luka magic. Maybe we got Bron getting downhill and now it's a different situation. But, it's the margin of victory is so small, and we literally saw that from a Hawkeye camera.
We saw all 5 of those starters play big minutes, except Jackson Hayes, because you had guys coming off the bench like Dorian Finney-Smith with playing those 40 minutes. So now they go back to LA for Game 5. This is obviously the Lakers, they need to make some adjustments. They need to figure out the matchup problems. But how do you foresee this Game 5 back in LA going?
It's going to be similar to the last 2 that we saw. They're going to be hard fought, but who can execute better? We saw in the early game today, when it comes down to the last 5 minutes of the game, it's going to be a close game. Who can execute better?
Yeah.
Minnesota has proven that, no lead is safe. They can come back from anything. But, you got to be able to get stops. You got to be able to execute offensively. And whoever can do that to the highest of their power is going to probably come out victorious.
This series has been
What's your favorite team? Comment below, and if you liked the video, please leave a like. This really helps the channel grow and brings you even more content. Oh, and if you're not subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Click the subscribe button and activate the bell to receive all notifications. With each game, we noticed that the NBA is getting more competitive every day, and all the teams are looking for reinforcements to win the championship. And only here can you follow your favorite team daily with incredible content from different sources. Here on the channel, there are new videos every day with analysis, curiosities, and the best moments in basketball. That's it for today, folks. Thanks for following along. The NBA doesn't stop, and neither do we. Until the next video. NBA, the passion that connects us.